Alright mga kaibigan, ako isang panibagong episode na naman ng ating Tele-Radyo, ang pinakaabangan ng lahat mga kaibigan. At ngayon ay nais natin talakayin itong headline o banner story ng Mindanao Examiner regional newspaper. At nakalagay dito mga kaibigan, help comes to Zamboanga again. Ito matapos na dumulog itong mga lider ng mga war refugees natin dito sa Zamboanga City, kina Governor Sulu Governor Toto Tan, kay Basilan Governor Jum Akbar, at dito kay Tawi-Tawi Governor Norbert Sahali. Ito ay may kinalaman mga kaibigan dun sa pagpapalaya, so hindi pag-aalaw sa mga refugees na makabalik sa kanilang mga barangay matapos na ma-displace dahil sa halos mahigit na 3 linggong bakbakan noong September dahil sa naging pag-atake ng Moro National Liberation Front. At ang maganda nito mga kaibigan, mismong itong sina Sulu Governor Toto Tan at si Vice Governor Sakurtan ang siyang nanguna kung paano matutugunan itong problema na dala ng hinaing ng mga war refugees. At nagkaroon to ng Regional Leaders Summit, mga kaibigan, na dinaluhan ng iba't ibang civil society groups, mga peace advocates, mga human rights groups, at yung mga Muslim at Christian religious leaders. Kasama dito si Representative Mariam Arbison ng Sulu, si Representative Ruby Sahali ng Tawi-Tawi, at siyempre yung kanilang mga mayors. At nagkaroon naman ng magandang pag-uusap mga kaibigan, dahil nagkaroon din ng palitan ng kuro-kuro at kung paano mabibigyan ng solusyon itong problema. Sa naturang Regional Leaders Summit na ginanap dito sa Garden Orchid Hotel sa Zamboanga, ay nagkaroon ng magandang resulta mga kaibigan dahil sa pakiusap na rin itong si Mayor Beng Climaco Salazar o Maria Isabel Salazar, ay tinugunan ng mga governors at ng iba pang grupo ang panawagan ng karagdagang tulong. Maging yung Darul Ifta mga kaibigan ng Zamboanga, napaka-aktibo pala nito, pero tahimik lamang sila. Ngunit yung problema ng mga refugees ay pasan-pasan sa kanilang mga balikat ng Darul Ifta, ng iba-ibang grupo, at pati na rin ng mga governors, yung 3 governors ng autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. Kung matatandaan mga kaibigan, naunang nagbigay ng tulong yung lalawigan ng Sulu, isa yan sa mga naunang nagbigay ng tulong sa Zamboanga, at nagbigay sila ng mahigit na 3 milyong pisong cash at mga relief aid nung sa unang araw matapos ng magkaroon ng sagupaan. Ito'y dahil na rin sa panawagan ni Beng Climaco mga kaibigan. Sa naturang summit mga kaibigan, ay muling nangako ang mga governors na magbibigay ng tulong. Mahigit din sa 200 ng mga leaders ng various Muslim at Christian groups sa Zamboanga ang dumalo sa nasabing meeting na may binansagang confidence building, reconstruction and healing, what Muslim and Christian leaders can do together. Ang conveners nito mga kaibigan, yung Darul Ifta, yung Zamboanga City Government at ang Archdiocese of Zamboanga. Dito diniscuss yung plight ng mga refugees na hanggang ngayon ay nasa iba't ibang evacuation center pa. Mamaya mga kaibigan ay makikita ninyo yung video ng naturang summit. At ibibigay namin sa inyo yan at na-record yan ng Mindanao Examiner Television. At sinabi naman ni Sulu Vice Governor Sakurtan na hindi nila pababayaan ng mga refugees kasi sa nangyaring 3 linggong sagupaan ay umabot mga kaibigan mahigit sa 120,000 people ang nawala ng tirahan. Yan ang apektado at nasa nasa mga iba't ibang evacuation center. Ngunit sinabi ni Vice Governor Sakurtan na hindi nila pababayaan ang karapatan ng mga refugees, lalong-lalo na yung mga tausug mula sa Sulu, yung mga Muslim mula sa Tawi-Tawi, mga Samal, at yung mga Yakan ng Basilan. At siyempre, yung mga natibo ng Zamboanga, mga Zamboangueños at mga Subanon na apektado nitong kaguluhan. Ngunit hindi natin nakita itong si ARMM Governor Mujib Hataman sa naturang summit. At wala rin itong ipinadalang representative. Dahil sa nung ipinakilala yung mga guests at participants, mga kaibigan, walang nabanggit na kung nasaan tong si Hataman at kung meron ba tong ipinadalang representative o wala. Ngunit wala naman nabanggit yung mga organizers ng ipinakilala yung mga guest. Ngunit meron doon ilang mga members ng Regional Legislative Assembly. Dapat to tinututukan to ni Hataman, mga kaibigan. Kita nyo ang talagang tumutok pa rito yung 3 governors ng Basilan, Sulu at Tawi-Tawi. Alam nyo, maganda yung naging resulta nitong Leaders Summit. Dahil talagang maramdamin yung naging pagtugon ng mga opisyal sa panawagan nitong si Beng Climacao. At sa dakong huli sa kanyang talumpati ay naiyak, mga kaibigan. Itong si Zamboanga City Mayor Beng Climacao, dahil sinabi niya na sa kasagsagan ng kawalan ng Zamboanga, ang unang tumulong, mga kaibigan, tumugon sa emergency ng pagkain, gamot at kung ano-ano pa ay ang Sulu. Sa ilalim nitong si Governor Toto Tan at ang kanyang abang si Vice Governor Sakurtan at siyempre ang itong si Hadja Noronisa Tan ng pinuno ng Sulu Provincial Women's Council. And then yung Basilan, itong si Jumakbar, si Governor Jumakbar. At siyempre si Tawi-Tawi Governor Sadikul Sahali. Kaya nung mapaiyak, mga kaibigan, itong si Zamboanga City Mayor Beng Climacao ay talagang natouch yung maraming mga participants dahil sa makabagbag damdamin na talumpati nitong si Mayor Climacao sa kanyang taos-pusong pasasalamat sa mga Muslim governors na tumugon ng pangangailangan ng Zamboanga City. Pero mga kaibigan, ito, panoorin ninyo yung kabuuan ng Leaders Summit na ginawa kamakailan sa Zamboanga City. At makikita nyo rin dyan yung sa sideline yan, mga kaibigan, ay nakapanayam naman ng mga Zamboanga media. Itong si Sulu Vice Governor Sakurtan upang makuha ng pahayag ukol sa problemang dala-dala nitong refugees dito sa Zamboanga. Ito, mga kaibigan, panoorin natin.
To integrate the concept of human rights, each leader is bound by law to protect, respect, and fulfill human rights. To give us the rationale for today's gathering, may we call the conveners, co-conveners, because we have three conveners for this gathering. We have the Catholic staff, the Archdiocese of Zamboanga, and the city government. May we call on Monsignor Chris Manungas of the Archdiocese.
Christian leaders can do well to cooperate, to work together with government in the pursuit of justice, progress, and peace, all for the common good. Through dialogue, cooperation, rebuilding is possible. We are in the Archdiocese are very thankful, for example, to our brothers of the Esperanza who have helped us in the rebuilding of our chapel destroyed during the crisis in Marta. And the people are very, very thankful and grateful to them. This is an example of care and concern.
It is a pleasure and an honor to welcome all of you, our esteemed guests, to today's Summit of Leaders here in Zamboanga City. Unfortunately, Mayor Ben Climaco could not be with us because together with other city officials, they had been called by the Department of Public Works and Highway for an urgent meeting with the President of the Philippines regarding the rehabilitation plan. She, however, expresses her gratitude for the support that you have shown to our city. Again, on behalf of Mayor Climaco and the local government, bienvenidos a todos. The road to recovery for Zamboanga City is going to be a great challenge. A lot needs to be done, and our most primordial concern remains to be the welfare and well-being of the affected families. We are not only looking at their current needs, but we are also working on facilitating their transition and on building back better. This, my friends, is a journey we cannot undertake alone. The theme of the session today is an apt one. Before we can put into effect the plans that we have prepared, we need to build back the confidence of our people. We need to instill in them a sense of purpose and hope. Confidence and hope are the things that our people will need to get back on their feet. Most important of all, we need to show them that they are not alone and that we will not leave them behind. We need to communicate to them that they can rely on us, that we want to give the best that we can offer, and that we are here to listen to their needs. Our gatherings today is an expression of our friendship and the brotherhood that binds us as Mindanaoans. We are very much appreciative and grateful to your presence here today. It means so much to us that you are lending us your strength in order to help us with our rehabilitation and humanitarian efforts. Your presence inspires us and at the same time humbles us because it shows our solidarity and our collective desire to bring peace and progress in our region. In closing, allow me once again to extend the city's warmest welcome to all of you. Muchísimas gracias, and it is our hope that this gathering of leaders will be a fruitful endeavor. Bienvenidos y vaya con Dios.
Allah will remove from him one of the griefs of the day of resurrection. And whoever alleviates the need of a needy, and whoever alleviates the need of a needy person, Allah will alleviate his needs in this world and the hereafter. Whoever shields a believer Muslim, Allah will shield him in this world and the hereafter. And Allah will aid his servant so long as he, the servant, aids his brother. Thus, the Zamboanga crisis needs a concerted effort for its reconstruction from the stakeholders to build a better city. Every sector must contribute in whatever way to help. For us, the religious group, though we do acknowledge that the physical rebuilding of the destroyed communities is important for the IDPs to return home, we take cognizance the paramount task of mending the social fabric torn by the recent violence. Let us stop blaming. Let us work together. As the Holy Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if and when the two, the political and the religious leaders, work in unison for the common good of all, their community will be prosperous and peaceful. Let me add, it is because there will be a genuine check and balance working effectively. This gathering today is our initiative together with the Archdiocese of Zamboanga and the city government in facing the challenges for confidence building, reconstruction, and healing to make our city, our society a better place to live, where our people are free from fear and free from want. Let us make this dream a reality. But this dream will not be realized if we will not put our act together. Inshallah, with our effort, we can make a difference. Lastly, allow me to quote a Quranic verse from the Holy Quran. Inna Allah la yughayyiru ma biqawmin hatta yughayyiru ma bi anfusihim. Verily, God does not change the state of a people till they change themselves. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Muna-muna, kumukbal ako sa pagsarang sa pulo kanyang katantan, sinyari ka muna kahadir, at daw ini, di hadayra sa Zamboanga, sarta di hotel ini, and then, my sincere gratitude to the organizers of this forum, headed by the city of Zamboanga, of course the Archdiocese of Zamboanga, and the Darulif of Zamboanga, as well as the local governments of the provinces of Sulu, Basilan, and Tawi-Tawi, who are here ably represented by their governors. The governor of Sulu is here, the governor of Tawi-Tawi is here, the governor of Basilan is here, as well as Congresswoman Arbison of Sulu and Congresswoman Sahali of Tawi-Tawi. We have several guests here, guests from the religious, both the Christian and the Muslim faith, coming from the provinces as well of Sulu and Tawi-Tawi and Basilan. We have likewise invited the Bishop of Sulu and Basilan and Tawi-Tawi, several of the mayors, in fact practically all of the mayors of Sulu, members of the provincial board, members of the regional assembly, are in attendance. Professor Ali Ayub, who have been wanting to come to Zamboanga, but we do not want to be misconstrued as intruding into the affairs of Zamboanga. But we thought we are obliged as well to help address the concerns of those people who have been affected by the siege that took place, was it last month?
September 9.
September 9. September 9. Ito sa bundalan niya, nagtag na si September 9. On that very same afternoon, I was invited by the secretary, the local government, through the West Mincom. I was in Manila then. So, I came down to Zamboanga. I was flown in by the plane of Secretary Mar Rojas just to be able to get in touch with the leaders of those who came. From Sulu and maybe from other neighboring provinces or areas. Pero wala naman akong magawa. Pwede dami ang mahinaan ko tuod. Nagbalik na ako Minoy. Balik ako pa Manila, ang pa ako nagbalik pasok. Palaikan na hansulin namin pangatayan ko. Karena kikita ko namin pagkahiko. Muslim iban Christian. Lando ikabinsanaan, kikita na mo. We have seen how much suffering the people in the Visayas have gone through as a result of that typhoon Yolanda. But the whole world is providing that much attention to Zamboanga. So I would rather that we do not turn our back to our people here in Zamboanga, and we're very appreciative of the efforts of the city of Zamboanga, headed by no less than Mayor Beng Lobricat and the members of the council. Ay, I'm sorry. Yan, nabiyak sa pagkita namin Lobricat. Anyway, I'm sorry, Mayor Beng Limaco. So, kamatawran si namin affected dihay ni amuray namin mga bangsa taniray nga suluba sila ang iwan tawi-tawi. Actually, we met. Nag-usap-usap kami ron sa Maynila. Kami mga leaders, the governors, and of course myself as the vice governor, some members of Congress. Pinag-usap-usapan namin kung paano kami makatulong dito sa city of Zamboanga. Nakikita namin ang kahirapan. We feel that now it is also our obligation kasi una-una our people come to Zamboanga for their medical requirements. Our people come to Zamboanga for education. Our people come to Zamboanga for their livelihood. Kaya tingin namin, kailangan namin tulungan ng City of Zamboanga, alagaan ang Zamboanga. Hindi natin pwedeng pabayaan ang Zamboanga. May narinig ako kanina na mayroong mga Christian, Muslims, you know, we need not emulate what others are doing in other countries. Dito sa atin, we're very open. Mixed marriages is not uncommon. Mixed marriages between the two faiths, the Christians and the Muslims. So, sabi ko nga sa kanya, paano na yan? Pag nagkaroon ng problema sa ganun, dapat hindi nangyayari yung ganyan. Look at other territories or other areas in other parts of the world. Anong nangyayari? Pahirap ng pahirap. Kaya kailangan dito sa atin, they be Christians or they be Muslims, let us be one. We cannot live alone. Remember, we cannot live alone. Dapat nagsasama-sama tayong lahat. Now, to do this, kailangan alisin natin yun at magtulong-tulungan tayo. Alam nyo, nakita natin hundreds of thousands of IDPs, internally displaced persons, dito sa Zamboanga. Ang dami. Ang sabi ko sa kanila, ang ayaw lang natin ay kung masira ang ating mga kababayan. Masisira ang mga Muslims at saka mga Christians dahil pag wala nang hanap buhay yan. I remember I told Mayor Beng Lima ko, they can resort to criminality. Pag wala nang hanap buhay yan, pwede sila maging kriminal. With due respect, magnanakaw yan, mag-hold up yan, mangingidnap yan, at ang mga kababaihan natin ay masisira din yan dahil walang hanap buhay. So, yung human trafficking is not far-fetched. Pwedeng mangyari, in fact, may naririnig na nga tayo. I'm sure you've heard about this. Kung ano ang nangyayari dyan sa grandstand sa ating mga kababaihan. So, ito'y nakakalungkot. No. Why do we want to come here first before we even go to other areas like the Visayas? Dahil nararamdaman natin ang kahirapan. Hirap na nga, wala nang makain. Kahit na may bahay pa noon, alam natin, hindi naman lahat mayayaman. Hirap pa rin sa pagkain. Kaya hunitan na pangaon-kaon. Kaya hunitan, kabuyanan, na biyatiin na inuwaybay. Biyatiin na inuway pag-school. Biyatiin na inuway pagpaubat. Makaulungin namin bangsa tanyo, Christian naman, Muslim naman, bang kapasaran nangkan, nagisunison, yung kamaasan nyo, biya kamo, subay sadya kami mari. Malain kan subay na mo, liyabay, hindi ha city government, they had darulik tayo in archdiocese so that we would not be misconstrued as intruding into the affairs of Zamboanga. Nagbisara kami, iba ni Father Bert, Sinatineo. Nagbisara kami, iba ni Councilor Mayra Abubakar, si City Government. Nagbisara kami, iba ni Professor Ali Ayub, si na Civil Society. Bambyan din, kay tumabang, sin aming mga kamasan nyo biya kamo. O, bikan kami rito ha, ini hahulatan nyo, halupaso, kapasilan, natawi-tawi, ipangatayan na mo, na di siya makajari, lupahon na mo pangusabab. Dayat ko rito katan, namin puunan nyo. Ing kamasan nyo, kataw-tay mahuran nyo, yad ko rito kamo, salta, nari na kami doon, magpasyosyo, limyo, bato parukain toman, bang na mo, din na maipat, aming bangsa na mo, piyakan nyo. Nanggan, ini, yari kami, yari, salda, magkakuanda sila in commitment of support. Pag-support doon, aming mga political leaders. Sin, mga pagkainakon, sin City Government of Zamboanga. Pagkainakunan, sin kami katamang, biyadin, katabang. Harap mari pa Zamboanga. Awang sa panyo. Yatian na mo, yung mga pamahay-bahay niyo, hambukin asal na mag-open forum da. Awan na open forum tanyo, igual tanyo, inaming kabayaan tanyo. Subay to rin kita niyo mabaya, amin, di tanyo ikakuha. in suara tanyo. Subay tanyo sa jahiwa in suara tanyo. Oo. Yahulitan na tanyo. Bagi school na bang kita nyo, kahulitan pa pag saan na kuman suara na makaulong sa tanyo. Nangkan na kami ni Miyari. Mamogbog kami. Usawa tala, bongbukan na mo kamo. Mauli, tumukbal ako magbalik sa pagsarang sukol. Anyway, there's going to be an open forum later. And I'm sure everybody will be given that opportunity to say their piece. So with this, again, to the city of Zamboanga, to Mayor Ben Climaco, Archdiocese of Zamboanga in the Daro Lifta, and of course, mga barangay kapitan, si mga katan, in the affected barangays, di ba na sing katawmaasan nila, saltan na sing kamayulan, yari rin katan mga other officials, members of the provincial board, di ba si mga assemblymen, na ang sukol kanyo katantan. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
We have come up with 3 main objectives. The first one is the improvement of the overall environment in the area, in the affected area. This will ensure hygiene and sanitation of the communities, provide appropriate social service facilities, infrastructure, and amenities, and also to provide communities with access to livelihood opportunities, and also protect environmentally sensitive areas such as the mangrove. Our other objective is, of course, as much as possible, we would like to minimize the adverse social impacts of what had happened. Therefore, we would like to prioritize on-site housing rehabilitation and reconstruction. So in as much as there are already housing projects of the government in that area, we would like to just rehab these housing settlements in these areas. And of course, we would like for these housing developments to be culturally sensitive. Our third objective is the improvement of public safety and security of the community. We would like to provide police and military facilities in the area. And of course, we also would like to look in the environmental aspect, which is to ensure appropriate environmental protection measures. So, this is the area, the planning area that we will come up with our master plan for this area. The shaded portion is the core area, the affected area, and then the encircled one are the peripheral areas. So this is an image, satellite image of the affected area where we are doing also the planning. The blue enclosed, the perimeter line colored blue is the Kasanyanan, and then the black, it's not there, the black one somewhere there, that's Rio Hondo, and the light blue is or violet is Santa Barbara, and the yellow one is Santa Catalina. So this is the planning area. So the dotted area shows the extent of the burned down structures. The area somewhere there is the lustre, and then the lower portion is Mariki, and then in the middle portion is the near the fish farm is Rio Hondo. So this is also the map showing the barangays affected: Santa Catalina, Santa Barbara, Maliki, and Casangan. And we have also some pictures showing how it is now in cities. So the areas that are really affected by fire, the first one is we have Marikit, which has an approximate area of 7.07 hectares, and then Rio Hondo, 8.07, Santa Barbara, the biggest, 14.35 hectares. Next, Santa Catalina at 10 hectares, 0.7. Casangan, 1.27, Talon-Talon, 5.14 hectares, or a total of 46.60 hectares. We also have the number of fire victims by barangay. And for we have a initially for the first 6 barangay, seven barangays, we have a total, the number of individuals affected or fire victims are 30,814, and the number of families, we have 6,818. So these families either own their houses, or it could be they are just sharer or renter or caretakers or boarders. And we also have those that are as to the degree of damage, as to the degree of the damage incurred. We also have the figures, those that are partially damaged and those that are totally damaged. So for the initial total, we have 5,589 totally damaged structures. And of course, Rio Hondo has the biggest number of figure in terms of those structures that are totally damaged at 2,172. And then Santa Barbara is the next one at 1,151. And Santa Catalina at 1,062. Later, we also included 3 other areas: the Layan-Layan in Talon-Talon, the Lia in Mangkang, and also Sumaliki or Sumatra in Marikit. So, the overall total for the number of individuals, fire victims, we have 33,037, and the number of families affected, we have 7,242. And those who are house owners, we have 6,185. Those partially damaged, we have 194, but while we have totally damaged at 5,660. Before, of course, we come up with a plan for the reconstruction and for the rehabilitation and reconstruction of the affected area or planning area. We considered several issues in which we really have to look into seriously. And this is the first issue is on the housing sector. And the first issue here is the improvement of the overall environment. By improving the overall environment, we also would like to decongest the population, and also we have to consider the settlements in the danger zones like Zamboanga City has areas identified, those that are critically high in flooding, also tsunami area, possible tsunami areas, and the mangroves. And under housing, we also have this issue of the number of families to be retained on site, and if needed, only if needed, to be resettled off-site. We also have to increase the ground level open spaces. Considering if we are to improve also the overall environment of the area, we have to provide more open space so that houses will not really be so close to each other, so congested. And then the next one, we have to consider also the provision of appropriate social service requirements. Social service requirements like our health facilities and educational facilities. And also, we have to consider the social acceptability of medium-rise housing as well as off-site resettlement. Later, I will show you a picture of the medium-rise housing that we intend to place in the plan. And the off-site resettlements, the city is looking into possible areas where these off-site settlements can be placed. And then we also have to consider the revival of economic conditions, specifically livelihoods, and also the improvement of public safety and security for our people in this area. Next. Another sector that we have to look into, where there are also serious issues that we have to consider, is the environment. As I mentioned, we have hazard-prone areas like high susceptibility to flooding, and then liquefaction. Liquefaction, it's wherein you see on top of the earth it's just land, but underneath it, water is coming in, and slowly it's getting liquefied, and so it's eating up the land, and for all we know, the land will just collapse. And tsunami. This is the seawater coming into our city, our land. And of course, we also have to consider the encroachment on clogged and sometimes filled waterways. Zamboanga City, this is also happening. This is also a serious issue that we have to consider. Water pollution is also one issue that we consider, and then the loss of mangrove areas. We have a large mangrove area in this part of Zamboanga City. Actually, we can brag about it because nowhere in the Philippines wherein you can find a mangrove area very near the central business district. The mangrove area is a very good potential for tourism, especially if it's just very near and very accessible. So we also have low-grade urban development. That's why we would like to improve really our urban areas. And this affected area is just within a very urban area. We also have to consider the issues under the public infrastructure sector. And this one is the congested and disjointed roads. So we have a lot of narrow roads, and the roads here also in this affected area are narrow. And there are times our roads would end dead end, no? It's a dead end. It would be good if our roads are really connected with each other so that our road network will be very effective and efficient. We also have the lack of public and private vehicular parking areas. So it is very visible that we have a lot of on-street parking. So we also have inadequate flood and coastal protection structures, as well as inadequate potable water and sanitation facilities. For financing, we also have to look issues on financing, which is the component and total fund requirements. The recovery, the reconstruction of this affected area would really entail a great amount for us to really be able to give our brothers and sisters, to give our brothers and sisters a very, after what happened, and if we really want to build back better, we really need a big amount to do this and to meet our needs for our brothers and sisters. And also, we have to identify sources of funds. Zamboanga City alone, as mentioned earlier, definitely cannot cope up in coming up in doing the recovery and reconstruction. We would need a lot of help, a lot of support, not only from among us, not only from the national government, but even people all over the world. We would really need their support and assistance. And then, our cost recovery measures. What cost recovery measures could we apply? We have to consider also this. So, in the implementation of the plan, our program and project prioritization and schedule of implementation must also be looked into, because we cannot immediately implement the entire plan, just like yung simultaneous ba, or some could be done simultaneous, but some we really have to prioritize. And in order to be able to prioritize this, we have to come up with a schedule to implement the plan. And we also have to adopt policy directions, especially on housing and resettlement. We also have to identify the agency that will be in charge of implementation and its institutional linkages. And of course, before we can implement the plan, we have to come up with legislation that will be required to support the plan implementation. So this is a picture of the proposed medium-rise building design. This is the design for the proposed medium-rise building. Sorry, that's the typical floor plan on the left side of the slide, and this is the structure that we propose for medium-rise. This is also for just one story or one floor structure for resettlement, and this could be the first could possibly be done at Paniran resettlement area, because this is already an existing resettlement area of Zamboanga which was burned down. So according to NHA is just waiting for the go signal for NHA to start work in the reconstruction of the Paniran area. Of course, if we are to come up with a good plan for our plan to really be supported, we also have to come up with housing areas recommended for acquisition and development. Because definitely the area affected is not really enough to accommodate all those affected. And we really have to look for areas, to acquire areas for the further development. And as we have already mentioned, even very much urban, the city does not have enough land property to put up the relocation or either temporary or permanent for our affected brothers and sisters. So we really have to acquire other areas for housing. And definitely, it's not the city that will be buying this area. We have to get the support from the national government and possibly other donors. And also we have to have modes of housing design and reconstruction. I had shown you earlier the medium rise and also the just one-story structure. We also have to propose the road network layout and subsequent road right-of-way acquisition. If we are to also improve our road network, as I mentioned earlier, we have narrow roads, and if we are to improve and decongest, we have to widen our road right-of-ways. We also consider the recommendation of the Philippine Navy to acquire land for its headquarters and provision of outposts at the entry to the main waterway in Riomondo. And the return of settlements to Sahaya Water Village and similar locations. And those that are not in the danger zones, waterways and easements. Because there are a lot of our waterways, that's why we are also facing this a problem. We face this as a problem because there are a lot of structures along the waterway which definitely would affect the smooth flow of the water. We also have to search for possible housing sites further inland because in this area alone it would not be sufficient. So these things mentioned will allow UP Planades to initiate work with us, with the LGU, the city government, and NHA and other concerned agencies in aspects of due diligence, design, community consultations, and others. On the part of the city government, we have to take action in several aspects also. The first one, we have to give the approval in principle of the schematic master layout plan and its intention. So, the plan is about to be presented, as mentioned earlier, by our city administrator for the approval of the president. We also have to have an indicative count of families that will be provided with housing. The housing division under the mayor's office is the one in charge in coming up with this. Fortunately, we have, prior to the siege, we have a list of the residents in the affected areas. So have to cross-check this and come up with the final count up of the families affected. And then, the appraisal committee has also to convene to decide on the values of the properties earmarked for acquisition. For sale, lots for sale, even within the affected area. So the committee on appraisal only has to evaluate this further and appraise as to what would be the reasonable price wherein the city government, through the city government, these lots can be acquired. Also, the return of settlements to Sahaya Water Village and similar locations, and those that are not in their zone waterways and easements, we have to, the city has really the need to look into this so that we will not be facing this perennial problem. Hopefully, we won't be facing the perennial problem of flooding, especially in the affected area. We also have to get the approval on the mode of housing design and construction. This design will be presented to the communities. This will be scheduled when new planaris will be around, and once we're done, to the President will approve consultation with the families, with the community, so that at least the people would really know what kind of plan the city government has for them, and they will also have a say on these things.
Meeting of peace and solidarity. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Muna-muna din si katak na ini lamog-lamogayin ko na muna ini ang galis kung naroon sa indama kami bilang naman nagpingit palong na LC hintara kita kalakuan sumpa halang tumpukan sila iti management ka sila iti sila taon ng mga pagsagaan simus in CMC sila yang tidak mag-iniidya pagkakas bang man ini masulot atau wang sopa atau kan mga ini dan mengarah malamang dan mag-giro magpuno mga ini emun dan mga ini bahwa kita ini narin si katak na daw kita si Milyaho in September 9 bang in CMC sintaw magpaon sin sampas nag-schedule kami sin September hotel na sumagawa hindi mo ang ini mga katemo sa Pilipinas. Dahil sa kapit ko, hindi kita kalap sa napapangan tulba. Kung magtoy kami kataan, doon na beach hotel, may ka sinabi madya mo magbagka hindaro kita siya salta nagpaul kami fresh nanawa udahangan siya parinta iba kala nila suway kita nga mayta government in magpatiyo ang di lumagbo paghilwala. Bawa ang mga tingkan at ikaw na lumog mariyaw pagkalagdan sa paghilwala. Pagkalong dito na tinatawiran, mayroon na dumungo na endarali CNC nagbaon meeting. From time to time, kami bangunan ba muna in panawag hakataan si bang aramala pag-insin si Daro Dikta si pagtulong tabang at si aramala sa dia tumabo na donation si wala tani si pagwawala maghagat in ang tugdan si mga sintiyap tawag kami si sulawak na mo wayon ulo madali ka tayo mga dadang sabi ko si Mamba yung mga nabak na rin niya wala tugdan sila nga sila abroad nagpara sila sa katabangan nila hindi na nawag-tawag in CMC ang mga sila volunteers pagkailangan magdash sa mga pagkainit katabangan sa katanura yung mga sila habiat pinaglingo pagbakmit ng kataba ako mga student wala ka nabukas sila iba munong kamo pulang lagi dilukay nila doon kami sin pero sin nasa Pilipino sa Martin ito pindah na mo o pindah na mga matawag siwa sadya pindah na mo yung ini mga amin mo kung ano bukas kata Ingin mag-declare CMC Evacuation Center kata itu ini tahun amin ini terlalu tadi ang ili mga pengayapas deposisi di Indonesia ini pagdahan sini ang mga ini Indonesia CMC nag-call ang Manila ang bisat ko yung mga bisat na di kailan tatamangan sinungan taon dinig kepada si Daro Dikta kung ngayon mo iban walo in-assorted flow ang mainin kaya sila kawalan tagpit minis kita nyo na kari manggat mo sa kalumang ini ang tagi sa pamilya in taon si Daro Dikta sibuk dari ngelok kaliman sinabro 500 kata yang mga natabang si Daro Dikta itu si amoy nagkasahig. In pagput, mga sila, paano mo kunin si Darren. Ini pa rin ka, nasa tawag ka mag-coach, tawag ka mag-volunteer. Karena dapat kena Omar kasih pagdoa pagkakyaon namu ay mangurangan semua sigil dari na sinsi kita barangay island kasi kita hindi sila ng problema kaya on low ay sila kung hindi ka sila alaw sila ang sigawat na ito muhut in siyem biar hati kita tahu lalu kita nak dari mga kuwan charge of city. Sa kaulaw sa IDP Inagalit na mo counterpart niya ito, nalawag-tawag kami hakataan siyang ulama, siyang Zamboanga. Dumawang sila, magdakwa, doon alam siyang branch-tan niya. Indakwa na hinang namo, kaysa. Dahil pag ginamang siyang tablig niya, magtawila. At sumuot natin mga kaulamaan, pag-branch-tan, mamus, yung public mind, pagpatungtong kanila siyang pagkakadyaan ng jimat ko. Kikaroon niya mga waka-waka, magpaon kita niyo sa mga leader madrasa-madrasa, daguhanan sinanak si Chairman, siya si David Dekat dan Maymid dito ang Sheikh Salman dati. Sila nagkailangan niya ang kataan, sin pagmadrasa. Alhamdulillah, pagmadrasa niya, maglagay kami blackboard, maglagay notebook, free, because bakit yung kataan? Nanawag-tawag kami magpatabag notebook, magpatabag blackboard, in nag-respond, panagdaan, in timabang, hangi mo 500, notebook, iwan hangi mo 500, pensil, yung Monsignor Chris. Kami niya po niya, kami arte kasi Makadjay, itaw si Muslim talalta. Bukod ipagkuha, awak kong sentiment kami. Miha, ang ating darong kita. Father Lord Alejo, dimandi kam blackboard. Ang mga nagkakasara-sara sila mga demokrat kata. Na alhamdulillah sa may pabiyakon masing-masing pagdakwa sin CMC dapat kita alam si Grandstand. Ikaw problem ng Grandstand niya ang mga ini sakit. Intanda niya yawat na kapatan tatlo inyatay alam si Grandstand. Gawan tagpito bata-bata in Dumulya 5 months to 2 years old. Ito maas from 16 above. Kulang kami nagkawaan tag ako po kadlima. Ito maas niya tayo. At yung sakit din nakata kaupatan. Nasa mga kipasaran, ipatapat alam kamatayan ito, ikamotoran niya kay diarrhea. Mayta, dabitan sa City Hall Office, City Office, il gumawa amin na bakterya at tumig magbuha. Ikulay.
Don, pwede ko magtagalog? Para ko rin kahuni ka mag-translate. I will translate, but Tagalog ko.
So halos po araw-araw ang namamatay sa Grandstand. Itong problema po ay idinudulog namin sa CMC City Government. From time to time po, si Dr. Umar nasa pagtuwa. Nag-report po sa City Health Office si Dr. Lagpulos. Ang sagot po nila, hindi naman po hindi naman po masyadong problema ang namamatay. Abot na po ng 42 ang namatay. Hindi pa daw yung hindi pa sila away yun. Normal ba yung magkamatay na gano'n? Tapos po, ang pangatlong problema po sa Grandstand, human trafficking. And the worst, pangapat po, pumasok na po ang drugs sa Grandstand. Ngayon po, kung hindi po natin sila maalis sa Grandstand hanggang ngayon, siguro po patuloy po ang problema madalas lang ng mga kapatid natin IDPs sa loob ng evacuation center. And lastly po, ang CMC Daralipta pumasok na din po sa rehabilitation and rebuilding program ng city government. Paano po kasi nakapasok ang CMC? Ang-CMC po nakapasok dahil po sa kagustuhan ng mga IDPs at ng mga different barangay concern, Barangay Rehondo, Mariti, Santa Barbara, Santa Catalina, sila po'y gumawa ng petition letter. Ang sabi po nila dito, we confer our trust on the Crisis Management Committee of the Davao Region 9 and Palawan as our duly designated centralized authority in this endeavor and appeal its role to convene and facilitate our consensus building processes and to represent us in conversations and dialogue with province bodies and governmental authorities. Dito po nakapasok yung CMC. Hindi po CMC may kagustuhan na makialam sa usapin po sa rehabilitation. Kami po inutusan lamang ng mga IDPs at ng mga barangay official na kami po ang magiging convener o kaya po yung mouthpiece. Galing sa kanila, ito po sila, karamihan po sa kanila, mga IDPs natin, papunta ng city government. Ang kanila pong kagustuhan, ang kanila pong hiling, hindi po na maramihang kabuhayan. Ang hiling po ng mga IDPs natin, sinasaad po nila sa petition letter nila, pinaikot, We strongly urge local and national government with concerned line agencies to immediately schedule and execute the final returns of the IDPs and victims of displacement to their original homes and communities. Ito po ang pinaglalaban ng mga IDPs at ganoon din po ang pinaglalaban ng CNC dahil sa kanilang Yung last week lang po siguro, kung di ako nagkakamali, yung mga samadila po, pumunta po sa amin, nagsumbong, hindi po yung chairman namin, doon din po si Sheikh Jamal Muni. Dahil po, tinatanggal na sila sa may education center. Inopelan po sila, temporary center po sa Talog-Sangay. Ang sagot nila po sa amin, una-una po, ang Talog-Sangay, papuntang city proper at pinakamalayo po sa kanilang kabuhayan. Pangalawa, ayaw nila po mag-transfer sa Talog-Sangay. Dahil po, hindi nila po kabisyan yung terrain. Kung po sila maglalakbay, gumagawa ng bamboo, baka po masisira nila yung mga agal-agal plantation doon. Tapos sila po ang pagkakalintan. So nananawagan po sila sa Siyempre Darwinita. Ayaw nilang temporary shelter patungong Talog-Sangay po. Pero hanggang ngayon sila po ay nananawagan at kami rin po ay sa CMC patuloy rin nananawagan na sana po huwag na silang ilipat dahil po may pinag-usapan po kami ng mga CMC city local. Ang hinihingi po nila yung temporary shelter po yung Rihondo Elementary School at saka yung Aplaya at saka yung Mindeba. Temporary shelter po ng mga samadilao. Pero hanggang ngayon po wala po kami wala pong kasagutan. Ewan po kung sana po makukuha natin at maibibigay natin ang kanilang kunting kahilingan sa kanilang mga demand at kagustuhan. So, in sum up, to mirror the effort of this Zamboanga City government, the Darwinita has programmed its response to the crisis and planned interventions into phases. Notwithstanding its dire limitations and resources and logistics, in close coordinations and moving in tandem with the legal review of National Commission on Muslim Filipinos Regional Office 9, Darwinita CNC took to the challenge of the trust and leadership endorsed into its hand by the Muslim communities and the local leaders. After a series of roundtable discussions with leaders of Muslim civil society organizations, barangay and village chiefs and officials, IDP representatives and concerned Muslim leaders, the Darwinita CMC was now tasked as the centralized body for the convergence of grievances and concerns of the Muslim IDPs. The first task was called Darwinita CMC to operationalize the IDPs call for no to relocation, yes to redevelopment. For this purpose, two technical working groups were created, namely the Technical Working Group on Rehabilitation and Development and Technical Working Group on Paralegal and Legal Assistance. The basis of interventions and crisis response were as follows. Relief and rehabilitation. Since the outbreak of war on September 9, 2013, the Darwinita Crisis Management Committee has put together a group of volunteers to help in the following immediate response operation. 1. Monitoring of IDP displacement and incidents of violations of international humanitarian laws and related human rights violations. This was done in coordination with civil society organizations into human rights advocacy work. 2. Relief distributions in evacuation centers and house-based IDPs and those who sought shelter in mosques and Islamic centers. 3. Medical assistance and emergency. the burial assistance. And the CMC recovery and temporary relocation, we conduct psychosocial and trauma debriefing activities at the grandstand. 2. The necessary for the IDPs in dialogue and negotiation with government institutions on temporary shelters and relocation. 3. Drafting a proposal for temporary relocation of the IDP. And 4. Review, counter-checking, and counseling of the IDPs on serious form that they are co-effort to sign and white claim activities at affidavit they agree to declare. And number 3, the Darwita participating in healing and consensus building. The local government of 6 affected villages, barangay, passed a resolution endorsing the Darul Ifta CMC at its unified voice to facilitate the grievances and aspirations to the city government. The Darul Ifta CMC then became a major counterpart of the Zamboanga City Government Crisis Management Committee, and as such was invited to be part of every mechanism which created tasks with the rehabilitations, to reconstructions and rebuilding. One such mechanism is the healing and confidence building cluster that was eventually transformed into the Mayor's CMC Technical Working Group on Rehabilitation and Reconstruction. A large part of the CMC effort is to
You have 2 minutes.
Yes.
2 minutes, please.
Opinions and to build their consensus on the issue of relocations and development. Series of roundtable discussions and community consultation were conducted for this purpose. Media release and news stories fed to the local newspapers and opportunities for TV and radio interview by key IDP personalities were created to help balance the government-dominated media content. And number 4, reconstructions and rehabilitation. The Darul Ifta CMC and its technical working group on its own initiative and despite very limited resources implemented various activities and were also active participants in government organization activities, among which are the development workshop among barangay, LGU, IDP leaders, urban poor organizations, and homeowner associations, and volunteer technical specialists, and 2 participations in the deliberations of workshop in the housing workshop of Zamboanga Rehabilitation with the UP Planades, organized by the Office of the City Planning and City Housing and Human Settlement. And 3, survey and mapping of the proposed site for the development and building the modern development Muslim community. And last, identifications of temporary settlement for the IDPs, especially in some of the laot families of Riohondo and Mariki villages. Thank you. Magsugod. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thank you for that presentation.
Only last night, but I was not expecting to be delivering a report on what the business community has done during the Zamboanga siege. Honestly, I'm very uncomfortable quantifying our sector's role in during the siege. But to recall, September 9, we were stranded in Manila. We were in Manila specifically also to attend the launching of the Zoom In campaign for Zamboanga City's tourism. And we were supposed to come back on September 9. And fortunately, the siege happened. Now, what have we done? Not content about watching on the sidelines in Manila, we immediately collaborated with the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. On the first day, we were watching closely the events unfolding before our very eyes. We were very surprised that this thing had to happen to our beloved Zamboanga City. Our city that we really call home. A city wherein Muslims and Christians peacefully coexisted. A city that doesn't deserve what happened from that 23-day siege. Now, we have quantifying our role in trying to maintain a business as usual in the city, especially after 3 days wherein we were still counting the cost of the losses on the first 3 days. But on the 4th day, we decided to forego all our unrealized profits and the loss of income as well. We tried to open the malls on the 3rd day, but we were advised by our security forces that it's not advisable and it's very high risk. And because the banking community also closed down and they need to have a representation from the PCCI to open certain ATMs outside of the conflict area in the ground zero, we were able to touch base with Antonio Abacan, who is the vice chair for the banking sector, and made representation with Central Bank Governor Amado Tetanco to open, to give the go signal for certain banks to operate their ATMs because the money in circulation are depleting. We also did make representation with the CAP for the resumption of flights. And true enough, the first flight that was made available as we returned to normalcy, and that was September 17, I was one of the 7 who flown in to come back to Zamboanga. Now, as far as giving the face and voice of the business sector to the world, we have allowed ourselves to be exposed to the media, especially the international media, to give them an honest-to-goodness account of what is really happening on the ground. Agence France Press, BBC, CNN, and even our national dailies, Philippine Star, Daily Inquirer, were getting information from us, including all the TV stations. And we were holding forth at McKinley Hill at the PCCI Tower, giving them an hour-to-hour updates on what is really happening and what are the things that we need, immediate things that we need, especially the call for relief operations at the time. And GMA7 was very, very instrumental in coming up with a detailed relief goods that at the time was very much in need, and we were able to at least solicit together with Myra. Some of them were turned over to the city, but most of them were turned over to Red Cross as well as to the other TV stations who were also doing parallel initiatives as relief operation. Now, what people at the time were very, very much interested to know the cost of the siege to the business community. The cost, C-O-S-T. But we are more interested in the cost. Why it has to happen. We were asking questions. These are the things that we need to really internalize and try to at least come up with a solution that the Zamboanga siege must never happen again. Because it is not only about Zamboanga that experience the terror and the catastrophic effect of the siege, but as well as the Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi. I remember very well Governor Mujib Hataman approached me to say, to facilitate basic commodities to be transported to these provinces because they are in badly, they really badly needed all these basic commodities. It underscored the symbiotic relationship of Zamboanga to the Basilan Sulu Tawi-Tawi corridor. Now, post-crisis, our chamber involved ourselves in the post-crisis needs analysis. Together with the Office of the Civil Defense, we, for 18 days, we sat down and document the amount of damage that the business community incurred in these 8 barangays, as well as those losses that have been incurred by the business community in the downtown area, especially those within the 7-kilometer radius. Now, right now, we are still in the process of building back better Zamboanga, not necessarily in terms of building back better roads or infrastructure, but we need to see a build back better Zamboanga wherein Basulta will be part of this. Because we believe Zamboanga cannot exist alone. No man is an island. We need each other to peacefully coexist, to bring in progress and development. Especially, we are nearing the 2015 ASEAN integration. The ASEAN integration will open up further Zamboanga City and even the entire region to the inflows of goods as well as people from the ASEAN. Goods with zero tariff and people, meaning to say we will not only be competing with ourselves, but we will be competing with Singaporeans, Malaysians, Indonesians, and if we are not going to be united, how can we really be competitive in this aspect? Now, what can we do as a business community? The business community is supposed to be the engine of growth. Local government should only be the enabler for the business community to prosper. How can the local government or national government, for that matter, be the enabler? Not only in terms of basic infrastructure, but to make the environment safe, secure, wherein people can freely walk at night without fear. On the other wing of this hotel, we are discussing, we have a tourism summit right now, a regional tourism summit. And we are looking at how we can promote our region in terms of bringing in the much needed tourism infrastructure as well as the much needed tourists to come and explore the beauty of Zamboanga City as well as Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi. Without focusing on peace and security, all these efforts will be in vain. As I describe it, especially after the launching of the Zoom in Zamboanga, is a one step forward for the tourism sector and for the city for that matter. But after the siege is three steps backward. Now, how can we stop this vicious cycle if we are not going to be united, looking at the same page, and experiencing and feeling what is peace and what is security and what is living in Zamboanga City or in these areas free from fear? But what happened in September 9, the 23-day siege, highlighted the fact that we, peace-loving people, regardless of religion, whether Christians or Muslims or IP, must come together and unite for peace. Because it is through peace that development will follow. It's not the other way around. Without peace, Mindanao will just be a land of promise. It will never be a promise fulfilled. Because people will always say, Mindanao, Zamboanga, it's already a mindset. Magulo dyan. So how do we do a paradigm shift in addressing this reputation? We cannot anymore say that this is just a perception. Ask any Zamboangueño, whether Christians or Muslims, especially if they have kids, if they feel secure right now. During that issue of curfew, the lifting of curfew, they say that the lifting of curfew will solve the problem. Unfortunately, petty crimes are committed not nighttime, but daytime. So, again, let's underscore our concern for our city. I know most of you have established residence in Zamboanga and have already called Zamboanga your second home. And you also have kids who are studying in our local universities. I am very sure that you have the same concern. If we, living in Zamboanga, whether real Zamboangueño or have called Zamboanga their second home, doesn't feel the security, which is our basic human right, to be secured. Our lives and property. How can we expect other people see us? And who do you think will make Zamboanga or Mindanao or Basulta peaceful? It is incumbent upon every Zamboangueño, whether they were born here or they established their residences here, and call Zamboanga home, to make sure that Zamboanga, moving forward, will be peaceful, not only for ourselves, but for the future generations. We cannot only establish and look at it on the situation as a here and now. We have to look at the future of what the city or Basulta or Mindanao better than when we found it. The future for our kids, the future for our grandkids. Babalik pa ba sila? Will they still call Zamboanga City or Mindanao their home? So I am appealing every leaders, influential leaders of Basulta and Zamboanga, to look at peace and security as our primordial concern. Let us set aside first building infrastructure. Let us build a community wherein we peacefully coexist regardless of faith. Thank you very much.
Sulu Province for 2007-2013. Now Vice Governor Honorable Abdul Sakur Mahiltan. Sir, good afternoon. Other governors, I failed to read, forgive for the indulgence. Chairman of the National Ulama Conference of the Philippines, Sambazuta Chapter, Sheikh Jamal Munib. The Chairman of the Darul Ifta CMC, Sheikh Muhaimin Sakili. The punong barangays of the 6 barangays, thank you for coming around. The highly respectable Grand Mufti of Region 9 in Palawan, Darul Ifta, Sheikh Abdul Baki Abu Bakar, Assalamualaikum Atuan. Representative of the Archdiocese de Zamboanga, Monsignor Monongas. Sir, thank you for being with us and listening to us. Hopefully you can give your time. Other representative of the Diocese of the nearby provinces, the Muftis of other provinces. Other guests, allow me to extend our greetings of peace to each and everyone. Assalamu alaikum, and may God grace be upon us all. I am Ismael Musa, a barangay kagawad of Kasanyakan Barangay, one of the critically affected 6 barangays during the 23-day siege. The siege which made me and my family an IDPs. What I'm going to read with you or present with you is a synthesis of our group as we had processed for several sessions, more specifically on the data provided to us by some of our members, particularly Gamal Hassan and other members of the IDPs. By the way, it's supposed to be Gams, who we finally call him, to present, but he's in Manila now, attending the CHR Ulat ng Bayan International Human Rights Week, as well as he will be also attending the forum at the House of Congress Committee on Human Rights. So allow me to provide you little bits of information. Like the business sector, we in the IDPs, no one had thought such an imaginative crisis would occur here in Zamboanga City. We are all surprised and caught unprepared for such incident. We have thought Zamboanga City as a city of residents who are peace-loving, whether Muslims, Christians, and Lumans alike. Ang pamamisara, bangkaulong na tausog maisog, dito kawasog. Mangkaulong na tausog, mawaya, bukod sa mga bisarahan kayo nagawa, di na kaulong na Zamboanga. We have not thought of this crisis that would happen here in Zamboanga City. In that siege, the most affected groups are the innocent inhabitants of Mariki, Rehondo, Santa Barbara, Santa Catalina, Zone 4, and Kasanyakan. All the while, yun po yung affected. But later, from day 1, day 2, until day 23, it seems not only these 6 barangay, but all other barangays were also affected because they have to receive us. No? We have to go to them, to our families, for them to cater us while we are out of home. Yes, no one can deny that the city government of Zamboanga were really kind, and the national government were also able to respond immediately and assisted us IDPs. However, we would like to stress this. The aftermath effect of the siege, like the burned houses, no livelihood for the next 2 months, and some of our members of our families who are actually innocent inhabitants were being suspected as member of the eminent Miswari faction because they failed to move out during the when the enforced evacuation was declared. So indeed, the effects are innumerable. Mahunit itungon yung problema. Makatangis-tangis. Especially during the rainy days, no, at Grandstand. You could really cry how we IDPs are affected. Of course, we do not want to blame our security sectors for implementing the calculated response to the MNLF attack. Nor we don't want also to blame the MNLF for doing so. But we have to face reality that many of us, and this is our concern, we have no homes to return to. And it has been 90 days or more now. And many of us are still asking when we could return home. Professor Annie.
You texted me several times asking that question.
I'm an individual in the ground and have been asking any members of the CMC. Tinitext namin si Mike Saavedra, si Sir Orinday. We're texting Father Alejo, even General Banyo, and unfortunately, we could not get a positive response. Now, at the time of forced evacuation ordinance was enforced, we abided as we are obedient inhabitants with the belief that the security sectors will be able to protect our properties. However, you could notice burning of houses were everywhere. And as I said earlier, we don't want to blame and we don't want to point finger to anybody. As point fingering will be more to the one who is pointing finger. And we don't want to do that. But what we are asking now, especially we have representatives from House of Congress, I could read Congresswoman Arbison is around, and other assemblymen and friends in the City Council. Our question is, since you have enforced forced evacuation, can we get indemnification?
That's a good point.
That's a question. Another apprehension we are facing right now is a pronouncement of no less than Congressman Celso El Obregat. If I may wrong, then the television is wrong. In the no limits of Zamboanga, he mentioned that the national government has a new policy, and that policy is there will be no construction of buildings along the coastal area. And I will say this policy is good, but it will defeat the purpose for the existence of our beloved Samadilaon and other Tausuks whose livelihood is fishing. No, seeing for them, far from sea for them means death. So wag din po kami tapon sa Tulungatong or saan sa malayong barangay. We can still stay in Rehondo by providing seawall that will protect storm surge. I know UP Planades can come up with system to protect us from storm surge. Now, as regards to presidential proclamation, excuse me, as I said, no, these are products of our several sessions. Hindi po ito gawain ko. Ginawa po ito ng mga kasamahan namin sa mga IDPs when we have several sessions with the help of Darul Ifta CMC. As regards to Presidential Proclamation number 472 for Campo Muslim with a total area of 5.71 hectares, as well as the Presidential Proclamation 1458 for Rehondo and Mariki settlement with a land area of 23.5 hectares. What we are requesting from whatever government entities is let us respect this proclamation. And this should be used solely for housing settlement. not for any other purpose. Because the intended purpose is human settlement. Burn houses at Zone 4, Santa Catalina, Santa Barbara, and Kasanyahan, where I am a barangay kagawad, should also be given equal attention, not only the two barangays. On this, we appeal for fast rehabilitation. Let us build Zamboanga better, but also faster. While Yolanda-stricken areas have already a Yolanda Czar, we have not heard of any Zamboanga rehabilitation czar. However, I am happy with the presence of everybody today. Let me call this, let's buckle up. Bishop, ulama, city officials, and local leaders empowerment. Probably that is the only solution to our problem in the IDPs. So maraming salamat po sa mga buckle up. Okay? Now, since we have requested for the presence of Barangay Punong Barangay, we IDPs indeed requested for your presence. Thus, we are calling the Punong Barangays, to meet with their development council to facilitate any rehabilitation effort peculiar to your barangay. As regards to rebuilding, as I said earlier, we lack livelihood. And in fact, some of us, and it's really shameful to accept the fact that there are already who are into the PS activity. Let me not say whatever is the P and the S activity.
How many pages more?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, we appeal to DPWH, DSWD, and other implementing agency to give priority to our native residents in the Cash for Work program, as well as managing the implementation by allowing some of our Muslim leaders who are qualified in the implementation. We know the sentiments, the terrain, and our needs because we are them. Let also be noted that the religious sectors like the priests, the ulama, and pastors be given major role in the rehabilitation effort, as we believe that everything will be more successful with the aid of divine providence. The IDPs certainly endured or still enduring much hardship through this situation. Yet, we look into this situation in a positive way, as it was able to test the extent of perseverance and unity among our residents here in Ciudad de Zamboanga. Christians, Muslims work together for the relief operation of the predominantly Muslim populated barangays. So, indeed, it was also during this crisis and its aftermath that showed us that religious organizations, no matter what groupings, and political leaders could work together, resulting to a meaningful outcome, just what we have today. Let me give this summary, who I copied from Ali radiallahu anhu. Sooner, everyone will realize that the hardship brought us shall be gone, but its goodness will remain. Wa badu jalik, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
There are many efforts of solidarity with the youth, with the leader, in solidarity also with the communities. Also, we have been victim in the area of Santa Catalina, Marta Drive. Some of our sender have been destroyed, but we are there again to be with the people. Now, just to be very short, first of all, I'm very touched what happened in the midst of so much confusion and violence. The first few days after September 9, some of us, we met leaders. Ali was very active to gather many of us, and especially the Darul Iftar and many other leaders. And that very critical days, we have been able with the Interfaith Council of Leaders and others willing to help to make a statement, say this is not a religious war, etc., to maintain people calm. And of course, that in some way was a moment, in fact, the first time that all of us, Muslim Christian, went together in the grandstand after probably 4 days of this crisis was initiated by the Darul Iftar and the Interfaith Council leaders and other leaders, the diocese. Also, Monsignor Chris had to represent the diocese, and means there is that desire to rebuild. Now, no need for me to say the many things we have done during 30 years. Probably one thing that we want to emphasize, our effort is to rebuild through formation. Many of you know that we have thousands of alumni in our formation groups, not only in Zamboanga, in many other places. For this reason, there is a presence of Silsila, IFCL, also in Basilan, Nolo, Siasi, beginning on Tawi-Tawi, and after Itil, Pagadian, Davao, Cagayan, etc. in Manila. So means there is an effort to rebuild. Now, as a conclusion, I can say to rebuild better the feeling of people needs a form of conversion of heart. Sometimes we are afraid of this word of conversion because people think that we want to convert a person from one religion to another. The deeper conversion is the heart. We are called to be faithful to our own religion, but meanwhile we are faithful to our own religion, the Lord invites us to change the heart, as it was mentioned in this quotation of the Quran, and of course I can quote also the Gospel. Means we have to be more united, more honest, more just, more compassionate, to have more, we can say, the sense of reconciliation. How to do this in a situation like this after September 9, and with the background of culture and religion and history in this part of the Philippines. But today, the presence of our leader from the government, from the religious leader, is a sign that is possible. So with this, I wish that really we can turn to work together. God bless us.
This she acknowledges that this is a very important appeal. In fact, earlier acknowledged by Attorney King about the significance of the local officials coming together with the civil society organizations and calling for its institutionalization of such undertaking. I would think that there is really no need to institutionalize or signing memorandum of agreements about this. For this thing today has just come naturally. So, nobody has compelled us. It is the situation that has compelled the local government executives to invite ourselves to join the civil society organizations to participate in rebuilding the city of Zamboanga. Likewise, our appreciation to the observation of Attorney King about the role of the people of Sulu, Basilan, Tawi-Tawi in the growth of the business communities in Zamboanga City. Earlier, outside, I was asked by some people from the media about what we can do to, help and how do we intend to go about helping the city of Zamboanga to be rebuilt. I told them that first, if you go to the different business institutions here in Zamboanga, you see 95% in the malls, even in the hospitals, in the clinics, and everywhere, 95% of them are not originally from here. They are from either Zamboanga, Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi. So, sabi nga niya, you also have to develop these three other island provinces. So let us grow together.
Okay. That's nice.
Yun lang sana ang ano namin. Now, si Reverend, ang ating kapatid from the Evangelical Church, they left the province of Sulu because of the problem way back 1974. Maraming nagsasabi, papasok ang loan. Sabi ko, we can hardly afford to have, a conflict or a crisis that took place way back 1974. For up to now, we have not fully recovered. After what? 40 years? How can we afford to repeat this in Hulo? Now, this has happened in Zamboanga. They came to Zamboanga, here is another problem. Brethren, we have come here not to listen or to believe that a part 2 will take place. I'm sure this will not happen. They came from me. Tingin ko wala nang mangyayari ng ganun. Because, look at us. Everybody is here. Everybody is ready to support and prevent anything like that from happening. Kaya nandito ang mga ating mga pinuno, mga leaders, governors, and congressmen. Una-una, Mayor Beng, we came. Ayaw namin na maging intrusive. Pagdating namin dito, kami nagkipag-usap muna sa mga civil society organizations. So, Attorney King, civil society muna ang kausap namin. And then the Archdiocese, the President of the Ateneo de Manila, Aire Zamboanga, Father Bert, and of course with the participation of the city government represented by Councilor Maya Bukar. So, sila ang nag-arrange lahat ng mga ito. So, again, our appreciation to these entities for having organized such an activity like this today. So, again, maraming salamat at sana ito'y tuloy-tuloy. I'm sure this will continue. We need not do anything na kasulatan. This will just get stronger. I'm sure of that. So, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, maraming salamat. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Secretary Dede Almendras, in coordination with Secretary Singson and Secretary Nikki Soliman, they will be coming over on Thursday and Friday. And Secretary Nicole Sadai was there, and they will be part of the consultation team who will present the finalized roadmap to the people for consultation. To the level, the goal of this roadmap to rehabilitation and recovery of Zamboanga is minimize social dislocation. Ibig sabihin, yung mga bahay na dating nalapit sa dagat, to the best that they can, they will minimize their relocation, but definitely to a safer area. That is why we need to purchase areas that are near that area. Because in 2007, our barangay chairpersons are here. This afternoon, we had 2 meters of storm surge. So we intend to intensify a program of mangrove reforestation, but building communities where they came from. And then, meron po silang mga houses on stilts. They want to build houses on stilts also. Around 46 hectares that are affected. So they will put up roads, drainage improvement, and suitability for seaweed farmers. So yung executive order supposedly, I asked Secretary Dinky to check with legal muna if it will be fully implemented. Unless there is an act of Congress perhaps that legalizes it, then it becomes binding. So they will be having a cabinet meeting this afternoon. Perhaps that will be one of the issues discussed. But specifically for the city of Zamboanga, the Sama Pilao went to us. There's around 200 families in the community. Ayaw nila maging separated. Gusto nila as Hong Kong under Rio Hondo, they will remain as 200. And so these are some of the considerations that we've put in kay Secretary Singson. And the plan will be presented fully to you, to each and every one of us. But definitely, it will be a plan, inshallah, that we will build back better. We try to minimize relocation, but rehabilitate in places of origin to the best that we can.
Una-una, gusto ko lamang mag-suggest na kung pwede bago gumawa tayo ng technical working group na titingin dito sa mga sinasabi natin dito. At alam na natin, narinig na rin namin yung mga sentimento ng ating mga kababayan at yung gusto ng ating mga IDPs. First, of course, narinig natin na gusto ninyo na makabalik sa inyong lugar. Gusto nyo na makaalis na kayo dyan sa grandstand at saka sa mga evacuation centers. Ang sinasabi naman ng city government ay gagawa tayo ng mga resettlement areas or mga kahit na temporary shelters na much better. At hindi kayo i-resettle na i-compare. Pipilitin kayo na ma-resettle. Ganun ba yun? Hindi pwede i-compare na pilitin na i-dalhin kayo kung saan dapat yung gusto nyo. Narinig na namin yun. At nandito naman si Mayor Peng. Narinig na rin niya. So, narinig na rin namin. Tingin ko naman, maganda naman ang usapan. Maganda ang usapan. So, but the thing that is, all of these ideas will have to be put together. Kailangan pa mapagkaisa ito, ma-organize ang pinagsasabi natin dito. Hindi naman pwede ay kung isang idea. Kailangan pag-isahin na ito. Basta ang narinig natin dito, bottom line dito is going back. Bottom line dito is get out of the evacuation centers. Bottom line dito is city government will provide far better resettlement area. So yun ang inaano kung paano ito magawa ay nasabi naman kanina kung paano gagawin ito. Kailangan ma-organize. Magkaroon tayo ng technical working group at uupo at lahat na will be represented. At the group from the IDP, from the Sama, from the Tauso, Yakan, o pag-uusap-usapan ko, of course, from the government sector, the city government, and other agencies of government. So, yun ang tingin ko nararapat na gawin dito. Hindi naman pwede, o kanya-kanyang idea, kanya-kanyang, yun lahat ang gagawin natin. So, kailangan mapagkaisa ito lahat. Pero, dito lamang, maganda na nandito tayo lahat. Ang una, gusto namin maipatot Mayor Ben sa lahat na yung nandito lamang kami ay dapat you get the message. You get the message that we are also here for you. Sibuk-sibuk kita niyo, ang kabangsa, kaula yari ka mga sambuangan, demikian, nayari Mayor Pima ko, tag-ipa akato tanyo, namin nakamasan ni Biya Kamo, isa kami at tuha, hawla tanyo, wala paso, pasilamin na ka, tawid-tawid na ka, nasandya, ikamasan ni Biya Kamo, mahito bang dibiyakan nyo, di tumanang at iwagutaan nyo, yayaw. Na uli, ganoon ang suggestion ko na magkaroon ng technical working group that will look into this and organize all of the suggestions so that we can put this into, ma-implement natin kung ano man ang nararapat. Maraming salamat.
We're not mayor being Zamboanga, maraming mayor dito. Hindi lang ikaw. Pati governor, tatlo ata palagi pumunta rin. Kaya it's really important that we have to work together to uplift the development of Zamboanga after what had happened in September 9. In our humble way, people of Tawi-Tawi, ready to cooperate, willing to work with you in any way possible. We could help to make Zamboanga progressive again. Zamboanga, we value so much Zamboanga. Dahil ang mga tao namin nandito, our relatives, and even our families, most of them reside here already, members of our families. Now, the development of Zamboanga developed the entire people of Tawi-Tawi. Maybe suluan pa sila dahil what we have experienced, short experience we have, Zamboanga was disturbed because of the last experiences there. Talagang everybody, all relatives in Tawi-Tawi, I'm speaking to the people of Tawi-Tawi, they could hardly sleep during the night, thinking of the loved ones, the relatives. In Zamboanga, ano na raw ang nangyari. Mabuti lang ang cellphone ngayon, they could talk with their loved ones in the time of the day, in the time of the night. But despite of that, ang nangyari talaga, disturbed the entire people of Tawi-Tawi. I don't know if it disturbed suluan pa sila. Pero sa amin, talaga mga tao namin doon, talagang nahirapan. They were really worried. That is why we are here and we are glad that we have attended this very important meeting. Thanks to the organizer for it gave us an opportunity to have a conversation with the leaders in Zamboanga and the two provinces in our aim to work together for the betterment of Zamboanga. And one thing that I would like to emphasize again is Zamboangueños dapat consider Buluanos, Basilanos, Tawi-Tawian. If they reside already here in Zamboanga, they should be considered Zamboangueños already. Regardless whether they are Christian and Muslim, their heart is already Zamboangueño. That's why they should be considered Zamboangueños already. Huwag na tayo kung sabi dahil taga-Holo siya. Pero dito na ang pamilya niyan, ang mga anak, ang apo na nandito, it has considered them already Zamboangueño. Tulad namin, ang mga apo namin nandito na, i-consider them Zamboangueño already. And We do not allow any act of divisiveness. Dapat talaga magkaroon tayo ng the people, the native of Zamboanga and the people from the island provinces must be able to live in harmony. Like what we have been doing in Tawi-Tawi, Christian and Muslim live in harmony. If there are activities of the Christian, the Muslim participate. There are activities with religious activities of the Muslim, the Christian participate. That is a sign where people live together, how we could live in peace. And I am happy to tell you that in Tawi-Tawi, despite the disturbances in our neighboring provinces, we remain peaceful.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Buenas tardes. Nandito po kami bilang LGU ng Basilan. Kasama namin ang aming mga kasamahan sa province, sa iba't ibang probinsya, iba't ibang municipality. At masaya na nagkaroon tayo ng ganitong pag-iipon-ipon para mapag-usapan natin ang problema ng Zamboanga. So, hindi po natin ito po ma-consider problem ng Zamboanga lamang, kundi po problem ng kalapit na mga probinsya o itong mga neighboring places, provinces. Dahil po ay dito po halos ang karugtong ng buhay o pamumuhay natin araw-araw. Kaya po hindi po makayanan din namin, mabigat din para sa amin na hindi kami parte ng inyong rehabilitation or hearing program para sa ating mga constituent, Zamboangueño, Basileño, Holo, and Tawi-Tawi, dahil po ang apektado dito hindi lamang constituent ng mga provinces na ito, island provinces, hindi lamang po yung itong Zamboanga, kundi mga island provinces. So kaya po magiging parte ng program and activities na to ay kami po ang dapat nakaramay dito sa inyo. So nandito po kami bilang LGU ng Zamboanga ng Basilan. Kasama po natin ang aking napaka-batang-bata Vice Governor. At gusto namin ipaabot ng aming taos-pusong suporta sa inyong napag-usapan at napagkasunduan between city government and the constituent, affected constituent, with all the provinces, katulad ng Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, and Basilan, ay full support po kami from Basilan, katulad ng naisip ng ating mga former governor na ngayon Vice Governor sa Kalaan, si Sakurtan, ay pagkakaroon, isa sa mga paraan ay pagkakaroon ng Technical Working Group, TWG, ay napakagandang paraan po yun para sa amin, para po ay tuloy-tuloy itong solution na gagawin natin para sa ikakabuti at ikakaunlad ng Zamboanga. So, yun po ang pwede kong masabi sa inyo bilang taga-Basilan. Kami po ay buong pusong sumuporta sa inyong pagkakaisa sa atin at maraming salamat po.
Province of Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, Basilan, insofar as pagtulong sa Zamboanga.
Kaya kami nandito ay para makatulong dito. Matulungan natin ang yung City of Zamboanga at yung mga leaders dito na tulungan ang ating mga kababayan at ang mga taong bayan na naapektuhan ng giyera.
Anong klaseng tulong, Vice Gov?
Alam nyo, napakadaming pwede natin maitulong. Yung moral support lamang, ay napakalaki niyan. You cannot quantify that. So, at yan ang kailangan para mawalan ng pag-asa ang ating mga kababayan na tinamaan ng problema dito sa Zamboanga. At of course, yung mga material things na pwede natin maitulong, maibigay, na tingin natin kahit na yung mga we would think that we know better. I mean, things that our people would need. Like, for example, women would need, a lot of clothing, to cover their bodies. We know, yung mga pwedeng mangyari, yung mga consequences ng mga problema na ganito ay napupunta sa mga like prostitution, yung mga human trafficking. Yan ang gusto natin maiwasan na as much as possible na ma-address natin kagad.
Vice, anong yung tulong ho ba, example ng Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, ay ipag-isa tapos ibibigay sa Zamboanga o kanya-kanya?
Yan ang if you're referring to the material things.
Okay.
Siguro pwede naman pag-isahin, pwede naman padadala na whatever is ready, available sa kanya-kanyang probinsya. Ang importante, una-una yung suporta na nakikita ng ating mga taong bayan na ang kanilang mga kapatid na nasa pamahalaan, nasa gobyerno ay handaan tumulong na nandirito at tinitignan sila, binabantayan.
Kayo po sir, meron na kayong data kung ilan sa mga nandyan ngayon sa evacuation centers and natives of Sulu?
Tingin ko siguro mga kung may 100,000 dyan, yung 80% dyan ay Muslims. And then out of that 80%, another 80% ay Tausug. So karamihan ay Tausug. So alam mo naman yung Sulu Basilan, Tawi-Tawi ay puro Tausug din naman
Gov, may sinabi kayo, Gov, na huwag yung tularan ibang bansa para hindi magulo sa Zamboanga.
Nakikita naman natin yung ibang bansa na yung may mga nagkakaroon ng religious conflict. Dito, hindi natin kailangan yung ganun Nakita naman, walang patutunguhan yung may nagkaroon ng yung Christian, Muslim na animosities. Hindi tama yon. At alam naman natin, kahit naman yung ibang bansa, tingnan nyo yung mga communist countries, they have opened up. Because they know that they cannot exist alone.
Sir, kanina narinig niyo yung mga sharing, yung presentation. Saan ba pwedeng anong particular na support ang pwedeng ibigay ng Sulu? Kasi kanina na-mention yung relocation o yung sa housing at kulang pa rin sa pondo, like kahit mismo sa damit or pagkain. Sa ano particular gustong tumulong?
Siguro kayang-kaya namin na in fact ready kami magpadala ng mga clothing for women. Yung mga women sector ng Sulu, Women Council, ay naghahanda na rin ngayon ng mga damit para sa mga kababaihan. At of course, may mga pagkain, isang cash. And yun ang nila. Pero para sa akin, mas maganda yung makikita nila na hindi pwede yung magkaroon tayo ng kailangan maibalik natin yung tiwala ng Muslim sa Christian at ng Christian sa Muslim. Dapat magkakaisa dito sa kaya dapat natin malagaan. Alagaan natin ang Christian, alagaan natin ang ating mga Muslim brothers and sisters dito sa Zamboanga. Lalong-lalo na yung mga nandyan sa mga evacuation centers. Kawawa. Kahit hindi nag-evacuate na ganyan, hirap na nga sa pagkain. So, ganyan. Nawalan pa ng bahay, nawalan ng hanap buhay, walang pag-aaral, walang medisina. So, nahihirapan ang tao. So, they can always resort to so many things. Like, they can resort to prostitution, they can resort to criminalities like robbery, stealing, theft, or lahat. So, alam nyo naman, dahil sa kahirapan, so ayaw natin mangyari ito dahil maging problema rin ito ng city government. ng Liholo ba Zamboanga kaga nangyayari yung mga ganyan. Kaya yung mga ganito dapat ina-address kagad.
Maliban po sa mga damit na kailangan sa ito, pabahay or housing po ba? Kasi ito yung karati.
Siguro maliliit na units we can afford. Oo, siguro mga konti. We can do, give our share. I mean, even as a private citizen, pwede naman tayo magbigay sa mga natin, kababayan natin dito. Hindi sa nagmamarunong kami. At pero dahil sa kahirapan din namin na nalalaman namin kung anong kailangan ng mga kababayan namin. Siyempre mas mayaman ng Zamboanga at magagaling, marunong yung mga natin, very competent ang city government headed by Mayor Beng Climaco.
Sir, pabor po kayo doon sa relocation site, sir?
Sinabi naman, hindi naman compulsory na you may also, go back to your doon sa mga lugar nyo. So, tsaka may mga sinasabi naman. But anyway, I would rather that we wait for the open forum. Until after the open forum, before we make any statement for that matter.
Group reaction lang po doon sa signing between the MILF and the government sa wealth and power sharing.
Wealth and power sharing, I think they still have to tackle another issue, yung the issue of normalization. So, maganda kung matapos na nila. Ang kailangan natin ay magkaroon na ng kapayapaan at pagkakasundo yung MILF with the government.
Hindi niyo naman nakikita, sir, na maapektuhan yung leadership sa level ninyo with the presence, yung magiging setup under the Bangsa.
Hindi ko naman nakita pa kung pinirmahan nila.
Yung structure ko, Vice Ko, Chief Minister, tapos 50 Assembly members.
Ay, alam natin na ministerial na parang different form lang. So, pero yung mga mechanics, di pa natin alam. So, at the moment, I would rather that we do not make any comments yet on that.
Andito lahat kasi yung almost provincial governors andito.
Oo, nandito lahat.
Yeah. May effort ba magpupul ng resources para tumulong sa mga IDPs na Zamboanga or magiging kanya-kanya ba ito?
Siguro pag-uusapan namin kung pwede mag-pool kami o magkanya-kanya kami. At although nag-iipon kami ngayon yung kababaihan namin, tinatap yung barangays, yung mga mayors, the business sector, lahat, even teachers are chipping in.
Will it be difficult for the provincial leaders to put up resources? Kasi the PDAP wala na po. And the DAP is also being considered.
Hindi natin alam kung ano ba talaga. We have not really seen or we really do not know whatever would happen to the PDAP or the DAP o ano.
Sa pagbibigay po ng pag-come up ng mga tulong para sa IDPs.
Ay kung ano man ang makakayanan ng provincial government at yung mga taong bayan. You cannot always leave that to government or rely on government. Oo, dapat sariling sikap din tayo. So, komunidad ang kailangan dyan. Marami naman mga Muslims dito at Christians na may hanap buhay. Willing at saka yung business sector dito. Alam nyo, napakalaki ng tingin ko, contribution ng Sulu, Basilan and Tawi-Tawi sa business dito sa Zamboanga City. Kaya di natin dapat pabayaan yung mga IDPs. Taga Sulu, taga Basilan, taga Tawi-Tawi. If you go to the business centers, you go to business establishments, you see Tausugs, Sama, and Yakans. Hindi sa mina areas. 90%, 95%.
Nagpapatakbo at umiik.
At yan ang nagpapano. Kaya di natin dapat alam ko, alam yan ng business sector. Alam nila yan.
If they want to return to Sulu, sir, will you allow them or can the province?
Of course, they're free to go anywhere. But the thing there is, we have nothing to offer there. We have also IDPs or mga yung balik from yung halaw from Sabah. So marami rin kaming halaw. So dapat wag natin anuhin ay yung problema. Solvein natin. So solve natin. Tutulong naman tayo mag-solve. Kaya ng natin, kaya tayo natin dito is to support Mayor Beng Climaco. Mayor Beng Climaco and the city government, the Davao Lipta, the Archdiocese and the people of Zamboanga. Dahil itong Zamboanga, atin lahat ito eh. This is not only yours, this is not also mine, this is ours.
Pero nagpapasalamat tayo sa ating mga supporters, sa ating mga readers, at sa ating mga advertisers, sponsors, at mga partners dito sa Mindanao Examiner Tele-Radyo. Meron itong Tele-Radyo mga kaibigan ay napapakinggan ng live every 10 o'clock in the morning sa MindanaoExaminer.com at sa livestream.com/Mindanao Examiner. At napapakinggan din ito sa Mindanao Examiner Television Channel 63, sa KISMET Cable at Pagadian City Cable, dyan naman sa Zamboanga del Sur, of course sa Basilan. At kung gusto nyo magpalagay ng mga television ads, ay maaari nyo kaming tawagan at makikita nyo ang aming numero sa ilalim ng inyong television screen sa 062-992-5480. At siyempre, bukod sa telebisyon at sa Mindanao Examiner Tele-Radyo, yung website natin mga kaibigan, yung MindanaoExaminer.com, umaabot yan ng 2 million hits every month. Ibig sabihin niya mga kaibigan, 2 milyon ang tumingin, nagbasa ng balita, tumingin ng litrato, nanood ng video sa website ng MindanaoExaminer.com. 2 million hits mga kaibigan. At siyempre yung ating weekly regional newspaper, yung Mindanao Examiner newspaper mga kaibigan, isang weekly regional newspaper to na nagsisirculate sa malaking bahagi ng Mindanao. At siyempre yung ating Mindanao Daily Newspaper, naman mga kaibigan, araw-araw. At ang ating Business Week Mindanao, sa lahat ng inyong publication, whether sa telebisyon, sa ating mga pahayagan, ang Mindanao Examiner Weekly, ang Mindanao Daily Newspaper, at ang Business Week Mindanao. Pag kailangan nyo ng advertisements, publications, lahat ng uri ng publications, sa dyaryo, maaari kayong tumawag sa 062-992-5480 sa lahat ng inyong advertisements. At siyempre nagpapasalamat kami uli sa inyong lahat, sa mga nagbabasa, bumibisita sa amin araw-araw, nakikinig sa Mindanao Examiner Tele-Radyo, at ang ating mga sponsors, partners. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat sa patuloy ninyong suporta sa Mindanao Examiner. Pero mga kaibigan, wala na talaga tayong oras. Sagad na tayo sa ngalan ng aming direktor, si Greg Lianya, at sa lahat ng buong buo ng Mindanao Examiner. Ito pong muli yung abang lingkod, alas 5 pa lamang, nagsasabing bye-bye.